Welcome to one of two practices that I affectionately call the pose before you doze. And so these are poses that are specifically for sleeping or rest or restoration or healing balance, kind of balancing any mental, emotional, or physical activation in the body. And so this pose requires just some simple household props. And so this is a regular pillow. So we'll do like 3 or 4 of them, depending on how many you have available. And then we'll do 1 or 2 actually side pillows. Finally, we'll do what I call the kind of soft eye pillow. This is just this is like a kitchen towel, but you can use a hand towel. You just want to fold it up enough so that it covers your eyes, and I like to have it a little larger so that it doesn't feel that heavy on the eyes themselves. And so I'll put that to the side because we're actually going to do add that last. And so we'll start. And I'm practicing on the floor here, but I invite you to practice in your bed. This is a great pose. We'll be doing a restorative child's pose. This is a great pose to do just before bedtime. In some ways, it kind of helps you land into a sleep. And so to start, we'll start kind of on all fours, whether you're on the ground like myself, or you're on your bed. And if you're on the ground like myself, you can kind of do what I did and just to kind of put a blanket or a towel, something soft, because you'll be here for a little bit. And so bring your knees wider than hip width distance apart and bring your toes together. And you're gonna bring your hips back on to your heels. You'll actually use one of these throw pillows. You're gonna lift your hips up. You're gonna put it underneath your thighs, and then you're gonna bring your hips back down. And already what I'm experiencing in my body is kind of like a release of my tailbone and my sacrum. And so we're gonna keep that theme going. So we're gonna build support for the front part of the spine so that the lower and middle back can begin to relax. To do that, we're gonna take a pillow and we're gonna fold it. And I bring it like really close as I can into my knees. And then I'll do the same thing with the other pillows. Just kind of almost like I'm making a bolster. And if you have available like a body pillow or a bolster, you can use those as well. And then you're just gonna come and lay the front of your spine on to what you've built here. Now usually what I do is I kind of wrap my hands around the topmost pillow. And oftentimes this is enough support for the front part of my spine. But for some days, particularly if I've been hunched over on too many Zoom meetings or just, talking and really tense, I find that my shoulders are up near my ears and my back is curved. I can then take this other pillow and bring my torso over it and lay on that, and that has kind of an opening effect. What it also does is that it lifts the top part of my chest so that my hips can begin to descend, and you'll want to almost feel like your pelvis is just relaxing more and more towards your heels. And so just take a moment and settle into the shape, kind of familiarize yourself, encounter the supports underneath you. And if you wanted to add one more kind of gesture of release, you can incorporate the eye pillow. And so what you'll do is you'll take the eye pillow and like just the top quarter of it, kind of lay it diagonally on the top here. And then turn your head towards where the pillow is, and then you're gonna take and wrap the towel over your eyes. And if this feels uncomfortable or it doesn't work for you, you can just kind of lift it up and you don't have to do it. whatever you decide to do, start to come into awareness of your breath. Notice where your breath is in your body and see if you can focus on the exhale. And as you're focusing on the exhale, you can begin to, if you like, to start to extend the exhale any amount. And when we're extending the exhale, what we're doing in the nervous system is that we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest, relax, and digest system. It's the nervous system that also helps kind of calm and ease down the parasympathetic nervous system, which can be activated because of, the times we're living in, because of taking in a lot more information that we can digest, because of our passion for justice. And this is an important passion. And like any passion, it too has to rest so that it can strengthen. And so to think about this kind of focusing and extending the exhale as an opportunity to allow the fire in our belly that brings us to our work in the world to kind of burn deeply, and so that the body and the mind and the nervous system can not just rest, but it can also restore. It can also come into balance. And you can begin to, if you'd like, the 2-to-1 breathing. And this is kind of a version of the extended exhale, but just a little more numbers attached to it. And so to assist you with that, I'm going to come out of the pose, but please stay in the pose. I'm just going to give you some more directions. So as you're extending your exhale, on your next inhale, you can start to inhale for 3 and 2 and 1, and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 3, 2, 1. Exhale and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can just continue that way. If you find that your exhale is longer, you can switch to a 4 to 8 breath. If you find that this is too long, you can switch to a 2 to 4 breath. I think what's important is that you continue to attend to the 2-to-1 breathing, even if your mind wanders, your attention wanders. And to allow the pillows or the supports underneath your body to do any physical work. You might notice shifts in your body or shifts in your mind or your mood or sensation, and that is just part of the work of the pose. So you're free to continue practicing that way. And so if you have more time and space, I recommend practicing this pose for 15 to 20 minutes and spend about 8 or so minutes. And I'll just give you some instructions in transitioning out of the pose. Because you want to make sure that you honor where your nervous system is and kindly bring yourself out to either prepare for sleep if that's what your next activity is, or preparing for a different activity. And so if you're transitioning out of the pose, you can just very carefully, very gently removing the eye pillow with it, which is really not an eye pillow, it's our towel. And then with your eyes closed, you can just begin to slowly walk your hands back to your knees, maybe fluttering your eyes open and closed. You're taking a couple of breaths here, and then just coming up to a seated posture. So you could come and remove the pillow if you want and come to sit on your heels, or you can sit like I'm sitting, which is your knees to the side, or you can come cross-legged. Just take a moment just to pause to kind of take in the practice. So if your next activity is sleep, I would just rearrange the pillows so they're the way you want them when you sleep. If your next activity involves standing, or maybe it's standing to sit down to another Zoom meeting or a phone call, I would recommend that you take a few minutes to kind of walk, to ground yourself, maybe have something to eat or something to drink. So I hope this practice was helpful for you, and that it helps you and your work that you do in the world. So thank you so much for your practice. And please take good care of yourselves, your body, and each other. And please continue with love.